Hey, J-Bro's popping in here. Yeah, I was just doing some routine maintenance, checking stuff and whatnot. And I saw this up here was a little bit wetter than normal. And then I noticed, some splash back there. And like I said, a little bit wetter on the muffler. And I think there might be something leaking up in here. I haven't dove into it just yet. But little wetness up there, and then when I come on this other side here, you can see how there's like a drip off that one nut right there. So I'm gonna see what might be loose or whatnot. If you can see that nut right there, that might be the culprit on that handle, and it could just be running from there and then straight down. So I'm just going to do a little backtracking here, see what's loose, what's causing that leak, because it was just a little bit more hydraulic fluid. At least that's what I'm believing it is, because there's a little more hydraulic fluid up here than normal, so I don't know if that's coming out of here and back draining. But yeah, I'm just going to do a little inspection, little maintenance on the hydraulics, just see what might be happening and go from there. But if I find anything worthwhile, I will pop back in. Yeah, I couldn't really notice anything after I wiped stuff up. I've got it pretty dry in the spots that were kind of wet. I'm going to take and run the machine for about 10-15. See if I notice any new wet spots here, and see if I can't track it back, because I didn't really notice anything obvious that was loose or anything like that. Hey, J-Bro's popping back in here again. Yeah, what I decided to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this stuff cleaned up at the bottom. What I did know from my last video when I was messing with the cap and I filled up the oil filter, when I was saying, oh yeah, don't tighten the cap on too tight, well, also don't have it loose. There was actually a full another turn I needed to do and then snug it down. But anyway, so that was leaking a little bit off the top cap, but this stuff has all been wet from down here because I was pressure washing the outside and whatnot. And then yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this cleaned out. I was meaning to replace this battery. I haven't got to that yet. That's what I'm working on now. I'm going to pull the battery, go get a new one, but I want to get all this dirt and stuff out of here, and then just kind of start with a clean machine. And really the purpose of this video is I bought some heat stuff for the exhaust, and I'll show you what I got there. And I've seen other people do different stuff. I have done nothing far as this machine, so I just want to go through each step of what people have done, and I'm just going to see what each step does. So this is the heat wrap I bought. Basically I'm going to cut this down and wrap the muffler in this, and I'm just going to wrap around here, and then obviously I got some smaller tape right here. Whether I use this smaller stuff here, I bought a bunch of different stuff, so if I can get the pipe wrapped with this wider stuff here, probably that smaller stuff will work for that pipe. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that, see what kind of, let's just say, heat blocking I can get out of it. And I'll do a video on the temp. I'll probably run it, in normal temps, let's just say 60 degrees. Run it for a half hour. And if it doesn't go past 60 degrees, that means kind of all you need is just to wrap the muffler. If that's kind of still going past 60 degrees into that 70 range, I haven't reversed this fan at all. What I'd probably do is just reverse this fan to blow that way. Right now I have it blowing into the machine. And I'll just keep going step by step to see what you want to do. Let's just say, because we know this fan isn't very good, but it does blow stuff. So maybe if I reverse that. The other thing I'll end up doing is just buy an extra fan that mounts to the side here and blows out. So I'm going to start with the heat wrap up here, do a test on that. Then I'm going to go to this fan. Maybe I shouldn't even go to this fan, being it does work. Maybe I should go heat wrap here and then see how that works, and then mount the fan here, because I've heard of people having good success with that. So maybe that's the route I'll end up going. But like I said, this is what I'm going to start with, and I'll get it tested and see what's going on. Yeah. Okay, got the new battery here. Yeah, it took some time here finally. Clean this crap out of here. You know, you just get dirt and stuff build up, so I wiped all that down. My patience level stopped trying to get back in there. Probably should. I will probably clean up around those, the motors, but yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of doing the maintenance stuff, and then I'm going to wipe the exhaust down, get the temp barrier on there, and give that a run for the short term, and just see how much difference I notice on that. And then, like I said, I'll just keep following up with all the other stuff. But I got this pretty well cleaned up and ready to drop a new battery in and take it from there. Okay, I wanted to mention too that I mean, it's pretty tight to get this battery in, nothing spectacular, but I did actually have to use a breaker ratchet to get these screws out of here. Those were surprisingly hard, so I had a deep socket ratchet to tighten that up, but no big deal. But yeah, new battery in, simple hookup, and this one should be 10 times better than that Chinese one. All right, J-Bro's popping in here. So yeah, here's the heat blanket that I bought. I'm going to measure this and get it cut out and wrap it around this main exhaust here and see what kind of flow. And there's just a sticky back on here that will wrap it around there. So I'm gonna go ahead, get this cut out and get it ready to put on, and we'll see how this goes. The one thing I noticed as far as getting this complete wrap on here, you just want to, before you peel the tape, is just cut out the spots where the muffler, you know, is attached, and there's kind of like some flares on there. So that's what I took and did right now. But this is basically ready to peel the tape and have it stick on there. So that's kind of what I notched out down below and up top. So those are kind of going right where the webbing is. And then I'll probably stick it on there, and then it did come with a couple straps. So if I have to put the straps on there, I will. I'll see all the tape holds up, and then yeah, and then I'll probably just wrap this pipe here and go from there. But we'll see how it's done here in the finished product. Okay, yeah, that went on pretty easy. You just got to go slow. It seems like that adhesive stuck pretty good. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna go like that and just see as the heat heats up, see if it adheres even better. So looks good, looks clean. We'll see how much this helps. Like I said, I got some smaller tape. I'll wrap that pipe up as well. And the other cool part is, with this wrap on top of just keeping the heat out of the machine, is, you know, just extra safety for the rest of your controls and lines and stuff, so they're not going to be directly close to the muffler. But yeah, please like, subscribe, comment down below, and for sure I'll be doing update on see how this works. Yeah, I wanted to mention this too. I ran this for about 5 minutes, let's say, and this is able to touch this with your hands. Obviously it's hot, but so this is obviously working pretty good. And then what I was going to do on that smaller pipe there, I had bought this stuff in smaller rolls here. But the one bummer about this, it's not sticky backed, so it was kind of a pain in the butt to roll. But what I'm going to do is this bigger sheet that I got, I'm going to cut off of here. I'm going to cut these into small strips as I need it and just use this. So you might not even need to buy rolls like this, because I bought bigger stuff and whatnot, but I might not even use these because they're not sticky backed, where this here is sticky backed, and I'll just cut it off, and like I said, it might be just easier to put it on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that done. But I thought it was pretty nice to be able to touch that. Obviously, if that's deflecting that much heat already out there, and then I get that pipe there wrapped, might be on to something for the short term, you know. And then, like I said, I really want to try each phase of it. I want to try the heat wrap first, because that seems just the simplest way to go. And then, like I said, I might go to adding the fan next, but we'll see how this goes. But anyway, please like, subscribe, comment down below. J Bros out.